Today I want to talk about something that you've heard a lot about. It's the term comorbidities. Comorbidities are things that contribute to your demise, to your death, to your mortality. For example, COVID-19 has killed many people around the world. A vast majority, I believe 90+% of those deaths had comorbidities. Now, what are comorbidities? Well, it could be heart disease, it could be obesity, it could be cystic fibrosis, it could be any amount of things that contributed to your death. It could also have been either what allowed the virus to progress as fast and furious as it did, or it could be something that ultimately killed you in conjunction with a virus. So what I want to get at is a lot of these comorbidities are completely preventable. A lot of these comorbidities do not need to exist in your body. Now, for example, if a child or an adult has cystic fibrosis or type 1 diabetes, that is a genetic comorbidity. That is a genetic, a genetic disease, so to speak. However, if someone has type 2 diabetes, most of the time, if someone's obese, if someone has those underlying conditions, someone's a smoker, those are all comorbidities that are completely within your control to eliminate. Here's the deal with the world. Since I've been alive, we've had the swine flu, H1N1, we've had Ebola, we've had all these different things. And if you look at how they kill people, right? If you look at the people who get taken, who lose their lives, a lot of the time, now there are exceptions, but most of the time it has to do with people who do not have strong immune systems, who have those comorbidities. And that's unfortunate. Now, my main fear is when this Wuhan virus, when this coronavirus, COVID-19 spread across the USA. I remember I tweeted, I'm like, we're fucked. Because America is the land of comorbidities. 40% plus obesity rate, smokers. Yeah, okay, people were saying, well, if you're healthy, you have a good chance. However, America's not healthy. And that's a statistical fact. So what do we do about it? Well, unfortunately, if you've ever had a relative who smoked, who was overweight, and you try to convince them to stop smoking or to lose weight, they normally don't listen to you. So all I'm gonna do is ask you to take care of yourself. Be selfish. Look, if you're overweight and you're trying to lose weight, you're doing the right thing. However, this is more of a call to action than ever before that we need to take our life into our own hands. Look, here's the deal. The country's been shut down to flatten the curve. What does flattening the curve means? It means that we're not getting rid of the disease. It means that we're making it so we don't have a spike so enormous that our hospitals are overwhelmed. We've actually controlled it so much, we have hospitals going out of business. So starting this week in Georgia, next week in many other states like Tennessee, I believe Florida, the government is opening up the countries, right? State by state, depending on which governor wants to open up. However, what's gonna happen? The virus is still fucking there. It's gonna spike again. It's gonna probably spike and plateau because the virus is there. And it's gonna affect those, obviously elderly should be careful, stay indoors, quarantine if you can. Obviously those who are sick, unwell, very, very, very critical that they stay away from others. But for those of us who are healthy, we go out in the world, theoretically, I'm not a scientist, from what I've read, we get it, we survive it, we develop these antibodies, and that produces something called herd immunity. Again, this is me regurgitating. I am not an epidemiologist. I know multiple people who've survived COVID, from NYPD officers to just normal people to probably me. You guys remember when I lost my voice in December, January? 5 weeks, I had all the symptoms, but at that time, we had nothing about this except that there was something going on in China that was really fucked up. So the bottom line is, if I got it, I survived it. If I had it, again, I'm sure I had it. My family probably was asymptomatic. So we have that immunity. Now, why did we survive? Well, for one thing, something we can't control. We're young, right? 40 is not old. We're very healthy. So how do you take control of your health? Diet. make sure you're eating healthy foods. Make sure you're not eating too much where you gain weight. Okay, number 2, exercise. Cardiovascular exercise is a disease that affects your lungs, that affects your cardiorespiratory system. Exercise makes you healthy. Number 3, the foods you eat, make sure they're high in nutrients, dense in nutrients. Fruits, vegetables, meats. Meats are extremely nutrient dense. Steak, things like that. I'm a meat guy, I'm also a veggie guy. I'm not in one camp or the other. Another thing is, be sure you get your adequate vitamins. Vitamin D and vitamin C, very critical to this. Zinc is actually being prescribed to treat this disease. Not saying that it does anything, but they do have their hand in preventing. There's plenty of data on zinc, vitamin C, and vitamin D. Those are 3 to look at. But there's a lot of things I've gone over. However, this isn't about what to take, what to do. This is about you taking control of your own life. Look, you can't control a lot of things out there. What you can control is your health. And look, you might be the healthiest guy on earth. You get struck by lightning, hit by a car. I understand there's always risk in life. But mitigating risks that you control, and also when you're healthy, you're energetic, your diet's on point, your training's on point, you feel better, you perform better, you work better, you look better, you make more money. Things are better when you're healthy. This is a call to action, guys. Okay? It's time for all of us, including me, to be better. Be consistent. Drink your water, take your vitamins, don't be fat. That's not a game.